I'm a dancer, and I'm a traveler. And wherever I go, I experience the world one dance at a time. I'm Mickela Mallozzi, and this is Bare Feet in NYC. Bare Feet is supported in part by
Bloomberg Connects gives you a way to experience the arts from your mobile phone. You can explore hundreds of cultural organizations from around the world, anytime, anywhere. Learn more at BloombergConnects.org or wherever you find your apps.
Puerto Ricans make up the largest Hispanic minority in New York City. With the Great Migration in the 1950s, New York's neighborhood landscapes began to change and included large groups of Puerto Ricans moving to the city. Puerto Rican neighborhoods, known as barrios, sprang up in Manhattan, Brooklyn, and the Bronx, mixing the Hispanic influences of Puerto Rico, Cuba, and the Dominican Republic. Generations of Puerto Ricans living in the city have created a culture of its own, known as Nuyorican, a cross of Puerto Rican and New Yorker, and about 1.8 million people identify themselves as a member. On this Barefeet at NYC adventure, I visit the barrios and learn the impact that Puerto Ricans have had here in New York City and beyond. I head to one of the original Puerto Rican barrios in the South Bronx. My first stop is to the corner of Luis Nine Boulevard and Southern Boulevard to visit the Bronx Music Heritage Center, an arts center whose mission is to serve the community by preserving and promoting Bronx music, cultivating Bronx artists, spurring neighborhood revival, and providing free programs for the community. I meet with Elena Martinez, co-artistic director of the center.
The Bronx Music Heritage Center is the cultural arm of WEDCO, Women's Housing and Economic Development Corporation. They built buildings in the Bronx. This is one of their buildings, Intervale Green Building. They build affordable housing and other services for the community, like child care services, after-school programs. And a few years ago, they realized that what else do you need when you build a community? You need the arts and culture. And the purpose is to have great arts, great music, and great programming that is free to the community. And we offer here at the Bronx Music Heritage Center a few different classes that are free and open to the community as well. We have conga, so conga drums, piano, and we have been offering lately salsa dance classes.
Oh, great.
Here as well, some for children and some for adults.
One of the many free classes offered at the Bronx Music Heritage Center is Bomba Dance and Music, led by Puerto Rican native Milteri Tucker, director of the Bombazo Dance Company. Bomba is an African-based traditional dance and musical genre from Puerto Rico.
Every rhythm has the same step. Every rhythm has a way in which you communicate in terms of timing. And you make it your own. I'm not gonna dance like you. You're not gonna dance like me. You're all one individual person. That's the beauty about Bomba, how you feel it. Not a lot of people within the dance scene in New York, outside of the community, really knows about Bomba. So it started first as how can I incorporate it into the mainstream dance here in New York, which is modern dance or ballet. And it was such a wonderful, refreshing new way of, yes, we can see the correlation between West African and Bomba in some of the movements, but it's its own uniqueness, the way, we use a skirt, which is a prop.
Right.
It's an adaptation to colonialism, right? And that's why we use the skirt. What else can I do with Bomba? Mm-hmm. What else can I fuse with it? Where will it take me? And that's how the concept of Bombazo started. So let's go to Sika. Actually, let's just hear Sika. After we salute, with the right, same arm, same leg for this piquete. You're gonna go 1, 2, switch, 3, 4, all the way up to 8. 6, 7, 8, salute, salute drummers, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, here we go, and right, left, that's it. Right.
Bomba was originally danced by the slaves working in the sugarcane fields as a way to overcome the hardships of their labor. Because the slaves came from various tribes in Africa, communication between the slaves originally was difficult. However, common ground was found through music. Bomba became a language for the slaves living and working in Puerto Rico. The primo, or the main drum in Bomba, follows the dancer's movements and replicates the rhythms he or she is making. Milteri's brother sits at the primo in full concentration to hit every beat that the dancer makes with her body.
You improvise with Bomba. We're having a conversation with the drummer.
Exactly. You are the instrument. You are becoming the drummer, which he is following. So you're having a conversation with him, but at the same time, with your movements, you're creating the music.
Right.
You're creating the conversation. And as dancers, we don't want to keep the whole conversation in a very stagnant line. We want to give it colors. Sometimes some of the drummers, they know our patterns, right? But at the same time, it's trying to kind of trick him. Oh, I'm stopping here. I'm stopping in an odd number instead of an even number, where he would like, oh, she always stops in this number. And in Bomba, you as the dancer have the authority to stop, look at him, and say, follow me. My mom's family is from Puerto Rico, even though I was born and raised in Puerto Rico, but my dad is from New Orleans. So I have the gumbo and the sancocho. Yeah. So I have the rich culture that's there. I have drummers from Haiti, Cuba, Santo Domingo, Peru, dancers from Peru, from Thailand, Guatemala, Chile, and other who are Nuyorican who want to connect with their culture. Even if they're not Puerto Rican, how can they connect to it? Because we're all connected. We all come from one single base. So remember, Bomba is about you, your own individuality, right? The way you express yourself. So thank you so much, Bomba. So remember, class is Saturday.
The Bronx is called the Borough of Salsa. Salsa wasn't discovered here or started here. It's a Cuban-based musical form, and it sort of had its origins in New York City, in East Harlem, Spanish Harlem. But the Bronx is sort of the place where sort of all that came together, and there was a long history of great music halls and bars and clubs where people could go dancing and hear live music, as well as it was the home, and still is the home, to an incredible array of musicians. The co-artistic director here of the Bronx Music Heritage Center is the musician Bobby Sanabria, who himself associated with jazz and Latin jazz, but as well as salsa, but is also from the Bronx as well.
I was born and raised in the Melrose Projects in the South Bronx, and I always say, although I'm a trained musician, I have a degree in music from the Berklee College of Music, but it all comes from this majestic borough. In the South Bronx, on any given day in the summertime, you'd hear two things. The sound of the Mr. Softy ice cream truck and the sound of...
What does it mean to this community to have this space?
Well, it's a reaffirmation of the great cultural history, musical history that this borough exudes, but most people don't know about.
You know, as a kid, you kind of, I'm sure you pick up these sounds not just from people making music, but the sound of the trains going by, the rattling of the trains, people walking down the street. You know, it's like the Bronx is literally alive.
Exactly. Well, one of the great things about that time period is that all of the cultures came together because of the music. It was rough. I'm not going to sugarcoat it, but it was the music that gave us vibrancy and brought us all together. We were just so alive with the sense of community.
Yeah.
And we want to bring that back to the South Bronx.
One of the last remaining salsa legends in New York is Orlando Marin, also known to many as the last Mambo King.
Mambo, right? Mambo?
Orlando grew up in the Bronx at a time when Puerto Rican music was playing throughout the streets, which led to his popular success on the stages of the famous salsa dance halls in the 1950s and 60s.
The drums are called timbales.
Timbales.
And they were invented in Cuba. These are cowbells. This is a smaller bell that they use for cha-chas. And this is a cymbal which used in American music and international music.
You're the last Mambo King.
Right.
Now, what does that mean? Because Mambo then became what we know as salsa today, right?
Exactly. They changed the name, and Mambo is actually a dance that originated thousands of years ago from Africa. They changed the name to salsa, but it's the same rhythm. Let's do a cha-cha.
Cha-cha.
See, this keeps rhythm with the conga. Yeah.
No, this is my first time.
In 1950, when it came out, it was a mambo, right? I asked this friend of mine, what is that sound that makes me feel like dancing? He says, it's a cowbell. I went and bought a cowbell, and then I said, oh my God, I love this. I'm gonna make a band. I'm gonna get timbales, I'm gonna make a band, and get young kids like myself, because I don't know anything. I never took lessons in drums or any music, right, except voice. Living in the Bronx and making the first young band, all the young musicians came toward me. I was a band leader who never took a lesson, and I was grateful for that, so I gave other people the chance to play in a band that performed for people and paid them. So 65 years and still going.
Yeah. It seems like you're keeping this alive.
Thousands and thousands have come to hear me play, and they all get out of the wheelchairs
Great.
and they dance. It's a blessing.
Yeah.
It's a tremendous blessing. Was that great?
The Bronx is known as El Condado de la Salsa, or the Borough of Salsa, for good reason. My next stop is to the corner of Westchester Avenue and Prospect Avenue, also known as Miguel Angel Amadeo Way. I meet with Miguel himself at Casa Amadeo, one of the oldest Puerto Rican music stores in the Bronx and all of New York City.
Hello.
Hello there.
How are you? When I walk in this space, I see music, I hear music, I see instruments, I see you. This is a institution here in the Bronx. Tell me.
That's what people are always saying. This is just a regular record shop.
Record shop. Well, it's not. Tell us how this place started.
Started in 1941 with Rafael Hernandez and his sister, Victoria. She moved over to the Bronx, and it so happened that she came to live right above this store. Most of the people in the area, the Spanish people, were Puerto Ricans, you know, Spanish-speaking people. And she decided to start a new music store in the Bronx. In 1947, when I came from Puerto Rico, coming down the stairs on that train right there across the street, I was coming down the stairs and I heard music playing, you know. I said, well, I'm back in Puerto Rico.
Yeah. What kind of music can they find?
What they call now salsa, which is guaracha, some montuno, guaguancó, mambo, cha-cha-cha, and all that. All that music is now called salsa. Most of the music that I sell here is the old Puerto Rican music. 90% of the salsa that's produced in the United States and in the Americas is written by Puerto Ricans.
Can you show me some of the instruments we have that people can buy when they come here? Because not only can you buy records, you can buy CDs.
Well, the guitars, you can see them right there.
Yeah.
And another thing that we sell here is a lot of maracas, you know, small percussion instruments. This is the Puerto Rican güiro.
Yeah. You are a composer.
A very good composer.
I've heard that. I've heard you're very good. I also see instruments everywhere. I heard you are an incredible guitar player.
I love to play guitar. Go ahead, play your güiro.
Another Puerto Rican neighborhood is Spanish Harlem, or East Harlem, situated in the northeastern tip of Manhattan, known simply as El Barrio to the locals. El Barrio is a lively neighborhood full of music, dancing, Puerto Rican and Nuyorican pride, and of course, traditional food. I meet up with Miltity Tucker, the Bomba teacher from the Bronx Music Heritage Center, along with her mother, Margarita. They are taking me on a little Puerto Rican culinary journey through El Barrio. We meet at Cuchifritos on East 116th Street.
So here we have the pastelillos, so you can have the cheese, guayaba, with meat, chicken, of course.
Right.
Chicharrón.
That's like the pork ball. Wow, roast pork.
Yeah. And then we have also one of my favorite ones, and it's codfish with fried batter.
That's my favorite.
That's your favorite.
Oh, that's my favorite.
Cuchifritos offers traditional street food. These fried dishes are usually found on the beaches of Puerto Rico. We try a few of the popular dishes, including alcapurria, made out of plantains or yuca with minced meat inside.
This looks beautiful. Oh, and it smells amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, man. I don't know if you guys are watching the show. I'm like gaining weight like crazy because all I do is eat all this amazing food in New York City. But we dance it off. Yes.
Cuchifritos is also best known for its flavored juices, including the Puerto Rican classic mavi, made from tree bark and brown sugar.
Tree bark juice. Tree bark juice. Ooh. I don't even know how to describe that. It's very sweet because I'm assuming the brown sugar. It almost tastes like vanilla, kind of. It's good. I don't know. I mean, it's like really good. I've never tasted anything like it. I like it. So we're going to eat now a different style of food.
Right.
Because this was like fried finger foods, right?
Yeah, fried finger food, walkout food. Just now we're gonna go to sit down.
Our next stop is to La Fonda, on the corner of East 106th Street and 3rd Avenue, a restaurant whose cuisine is a modern take on traditional Puerto Rican comfort food.
I called Milton and I said, where do you go when you like miss home and you want something that reminds you of your grandmother's cooking, like any Puerto Rican? She goes, well, my mom's here, so she cooks for me. But if we had to go somewhere, it would be La Fonda. So let me take you there, because that's as close as it's gonna get. So
Being a black Puerto Rican, born and raised in Puerto Rico, you know, I truly embrace my Puerto Rican culture, not because of who I am, but also the legacy that my grandparents.
My mother came here in 1938 from Puerto Rico, and she did several jobs. And her dream was always to have her own restaurant. She would do all typical food from Puerto Rico, and to add to that was that my mother also worked in the school. She would get up at 5 o'clock in the morning, prepare all of that food, and then she would go to the school to work her shift, and come back and
To the restaurant.
Come back to the restaurant.
oh my God.
For her to have realized her dream, it just says a lot about who she was in her definitely her legacy afterwards.
Yeah.
Some of the dishes we try are the same ones that Miltity's grandmother used to serve herself at her own restaurant, including chicken stew, rice and beans, tostones or fried plantains, and mofongo, made from mashed green plantains.
So that's red beans.
Oh. That's rice and beans. That's
Rice and beans.
Wow. The seasoning on this is like,
It's good, huh?
oh my gosh. It's so good.
One of New York's longest-running salsa nights can be found at Sounds of Brazil on the corner of 7th Avenue and Varick Street in Soho. Every Friday, SOBs hosts an early salsa lesson in preparation for a night of salsa dancing and live music. Joseph Burgos of Piel Canela Dance School is leading tonight's dance lesson.
It is salsa night at Sounds of Brazil.
There's really no other place, I think, in New York City that for such a long time has produced such an amazing event. They have live bands here every single Friday. They have, a dance instructor come in and do the classes. If you grew up in New York, the West Coast, Puerto Rico, Venezuela, Colombia in the house, what happens? Sometimes you dance something that we call on one, little front and back. Look familiar? And then they get fancy where they put the arms in. Well, there are many different types of salsa styles in New York City. And it wasn't until Mambo came to the United States and got influenced by other genres here that it turned into what we know today as salsa.
I'm excited about tonight because not only are we going to get your lesson, but you just surround yourself with other people that are enthusiastic
Absolutely.
about this dance.
And I encourage people to come to SOBs because live music is where you really learn how to dance.
Yeah.
So what we're gonna do is keep it social, keep it simple. We're gonna dance something called New York style salsa, breaking on two. Golden rule number one, I need you to bend your knees about 2 to 4 inches from your normal height. Yeah. Why do we do that? To create space for your body to move. If I show you the enclave style, you know, many people refer to that as dancing to the rhythm of the music. The music is based on something called a clave rhythm. 2-3, 3-2. That's it. Then you dress it up by going back and forth. Whoa. And 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, and 1. This is the on-two basic that you're doing right now. Yes. What happened was that synthesizers back in the 1950s first came to be and changed not only salsa music, but music around the world forever. Because instead of having 30, 40-piece bands, you can shrink them down to 10. So all of a sudden, one of the guys that got shrunk down or laid off was a guy who played the... And because they don't have that as a benchmark, as to know where to put their feet, they decide to implement a new benchmark. And the new benchmark was considered to be the cycle, the one. So instead of dancing on the pa, 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 they started simply marking the one and immediately breaking, which to us means changing directions. For some reason, in the 1980s, the artists themselves said, you know what? This music seems to be too bland, too simple. We need to put the percussion back. We need to bring the clave back. A gentleman by the name of Eddie Torres said, you know what? How about we combine them? And at that moment, New York style breaking on two was born.
Wow.
1, 2, 3.
Breaking on 1 or 2 just explains where in the music the dancer starts his salsa step. Breaking on 1 means stepping on the first beat of the measure, and breaking on 2 means waiting to step until the second beat. My last stop brings me back to the Bronx in Fordham. I head to Yamule Dance School on Jerome Avenue, a salsa school that offers classes ranging all dance levels and all ages. I meet with dancers Julian and Justin Sandoval, 10-year-old twins who have fallen in love with salsa.
Do you remember your first salsa lesson?
It was scary because, well, we didn't want to do it.
Right, that's what I heard.
Because all these girls were there, and then we're like the only 2 boys, and we're like, why are we here? Why? So then we started taking classes, and we got better and better as we got on with them. And then that's when Betsy started
she asked
rehearsing the team.
And I remember they came in with these hoodies, and they were like, all like, I don't want to do this. And then soon, since they, saw that they had potential, they started liking it, and their energy just skyrocketed.
They're very much into dominating what they participate in. That's where Daddy comes in because...
Very competitive, I guess?
Yes, because of sports. So they really wanted to master this skill. And as you can see, they've come a long way.
I like adding in more stuff to like add style.
Sometimes when there's like a fast beat, I like to shimmy a lot because it gives more feedback to the audience. Like
more flavor.
They respect the choreography and they keep it as is, but they try to put in their creativity, their style, and then sometimes I take it. Sometimes.
That's good.
Yeah. It's very rewarding to see how hard they work, and then finally when they're on stage, they love it. They're excited. When they get off stage, they want to do it again, and it's motivating for me, and I know it's motivating for them.
As a dad, I never envisioned my sons as dancers. I just thought, they're gonna be a baseball player, basketball, or football. And now I'm like their biggest fan. I've turned it into like a sporting event. I'm always there
cheering them on. Your uncle was a professional dancer for some of the top salsa bands in the world.
Yes,
right?
yes. He was one of the original Eddie Torres dancers. Eddie Torres was the father of Salsa on 2, which is what the boys dance.
I started them when they were really, really young, and then their mother brought them into the dance school. And when I saw them after like 6 months, I was like amazed. I was like, oh my God, they've grown so much in 6 months. You gotta keep them there. They kept going. Now they're amazing, and they keep learning more and more and more.
What do you have to say to our audience members that are watching that are guys that might consider dancing now that they see you?
Never let someone say that you can't do something.
Yes. If someone tells you you can't do something, then you're gonna be like, oh, I can't do it. But then, what if you did try it and you were the best dancer there? Then that person is gonna shut up and go, oh, they're really good.
Okay.
Wow.
The Puerto Rican culture has touched so many of us New Yorkers throughout its barrios, with its rhythms, through its dances, and by its food. The evolution of dance and music stateside has become a proud culture in itself. To be Nuyorican means to mix the beauties of Puerto Rico's island in the Caribbean with those of New York City's island along the East River.
And I'll see you on my next Bare Feet in NYC adventure, wherever it may take me.
You can stay connected with us on travelbarefeet.com, where you'll find extra bonus videos, join our Bare Feet series conversations through social media, and stay updated with our newsletter.